Good morning and happy Mother's Day. What's the state of entrepreneurship in America? The bright side of the recent downturn in the economy is that it has birthed some incredible financing innovations. Is now really the best time to become an entrepreneur? We'll talk about that today on Spotlight with Professor William Volz of Wayne State University, Carol Glynn of Walsh College, and Ellis Liddell of ELE Wealth Management. It's Sunday, May the 12th. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. And welcome to Spotlight and welcome to Mother's Day. We're always talking about entrepreneurs, creating entrepreneurs. It's easier said than done. We have two people with us this morning and a gentleman that will join us later to talk about entrepreneurship and how do we get this ball rolling. Welcome to Spotlight. It's good having both of you. Carol Glynn, let me start with you. You're affiliated with Walsh College. You head up the Blackstone Launchpad project. First of all, people will want to know, if they don't know already, why is the name Blackstone Launchpad?
Okay. I can answer that very easily. They are the ones that actually invested in Walsh College and Wayne State University to start our launch pads in 2010.
And Blackstone is an investment firm.
Blackstone is an investment and financial advisory firm.
All right, very good. It was founded in 1985.
It was.
All right, and then the foundation came a little after that, and this comes up under the foundation, I imagine, because of all the 501c3 stuff as well, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Blackstone Launchpad, you're affiliated, Wayne State University, Walsh College, and the University of Miami. Connect me to the two. We aren't anywhere close to the University of Miami.
Okay, let's go back to the year 2008. Our launch pads at Walsh College and Wayne State University are actually using the process that was validated and begun at University of Miami in 2008. They were very, very successful. That program has been heralded by the Harvard Business Review and several others as being very successful.
Professor Volz, been affiliated with Wayne State University for a long time. You've taught business, you've taught law, you've taught ethics. You're now heading up the Blackstone Launchpad project there. Break it down for us. What exactly has Blackstone invested, and what do they want out of that investment? What kind of return?
Blackstone Charitable Foundation was brought to the state of Michigan by the New Economy Initiative. Dave Egner assembling a wide variety of different entrepreneurial adventures here in the Detroit region.
Sure. And David's been on this program before.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
And he heard about the University of Miami initiative, their model of assisting young entrepreneurs, and he connected the people at Blackstone Charitable Foundation in New York with this new model and frankly brought the funding to Michigan. So this is a way that he was leveraging the money that he has assembled through the foundations in Southeast Michigan.
And the overall purpose is you want to create entrepreneurs because you believe that if we create a certain number of entrepreneurs, that will help turn our quote-unquote sluggish economy, if you take that position that the economy has been sluggish or certainly had a downturn at one point, maybe coming back now, that this is a way to ensure that we guard against that happening again, or at least in the not too distant future?
Absolutely. We at Walsh College and Wayne State University, the leadership, believe that entrepreneurship can be a very viable career choice. So we want to bring it down to the grassroots level and make sure that they know when they graduate that that is an option they have. It not only does employs people, but there's a residual effect because there's marketing people they have to hire, legal people, etc. So in that sense, it's keeping people in Michigan and also improving the economy.
What are you finding from young people that are in your colleges? Are they sort of apprehensive about becoming entrepreneurs, or are they feeling like this is too risky? I better go with a big corporation. I better go with somewhere that's guaranteed. I'll have, eventually have a pension. I'll have insurance. I don't have all the risks that come along with entrepreneurship. Or are they approaching it very open-mindedly because of their young ages and saying, no, let's go out and do this?
No, I think it's an advantage of youth. They're not thinking about pensions yet. They're thinking about their passion. They're thinking about what it is they love. And the idea to be able to go to work and do something you love every day, perhaps like you get to do every day. It makes work a very different enterprise. So these are young people. They'd love to stay in Michigan if they can find an opportunity here. And what we're telling them is
Michigan a good opportunity for them right now? Because we always hear the stories that maybe this isn't the best place. We know we have some of the greatest education institutions in the world right in our own backyard, but we're educating a lot of people, and I keep hearing our biggest job is keeping them here in the state.
Well, I couldn't agree more. That is the essence of, and it's our purpose, is to keep these attractive entrepreneurial youth in Southeast Michigan. They want to stay here, and I think they can do well here. I mean, we have a number of success stories. We have well over 100 businesses that between Walsh College and Wayne State University, we've created in the last 3 years.
I want to come back, I want to pick up on that. What type of businesses are they creating, and what type of support system do they get and need from Walsh College, from Wayne State, and from other institutions out here, whether it's Blackstone, to be able to make sure that what they want to do, they can actually do. Okay? We'll be right back. We hope you stay with us. And welcome back to Spotlight. Professor William Volz of Wayne State University and Carol Glynn of Walsh College, two of our guests today on Spotlight. Let's talk nuts and bolts. I know that this is supposed to be a national pilot. Right. Has that worked yet? You started in 2010, sure. About $2 million. You just got the contract renewed from Blackstone, but I know you want this to go beyond the state of Michigan.
Oh, we do. And I can tell you it has been such a powerful collaboration between Wayne State University and Walsh College. And you have to think about it. We're two very, very different colleges and universities with different curriculums, right? Logistics
different
issues,
geographically,
everything.
One in the heart of the city, the other one sitting out in the suburbs.
And
yeah.
we have worked so well together. Part of the process of our Launchpad is we not only provide one-on-one consulting for students and alumni that want to explore entrepreneurship or an idea or a venture, but we together, Wayne State University, Walsh College, the New Economy Initiative, and also Automation Alley brought some key people to the table that we call venture coaches. So some of our more advanced ventures, we give them the privilege of getting the larger advisory team that have actually been initiated by all these groups. It's been a powerful collaboration.
Very good. Professor Volz, a couple questions. One is, how will you measure your success? And two is, can you really teach entrepreneurship, or is that just something that happens? I mean, America was built on the spirit of entrepreneurship, and now I'm wondering, are we over-theorizing this? We have immigrants that are coming in from this country, which we've always had, and out of just necessity, they get creative.
Entrepreneurship's infectious. There are some people that are born with it. There are some people that will be entrepreneurs, whatever you do. But there are other people who, being around entrepreneurs, are drawn into the energy, are drawn into the excitement of a new venture. So the incredible variety of folks that come to a place like Wayne State University, I've found that the entrepreneurs are representative of the immigrant groups, the minorities, and Joe and Miriam's suburb. I mean, they
and we've heard the governor, we've heard Governor Snyder in his State of the State addresses talk about this as one of his priorities. He wants to make sure that new people coming into this country feel as though they have a support system that they can become entrepreneurs, and we've seen that happen. Yeah.
There's another element to this, too, that I think we forget. You mentioned earlier, why is this a great place? We have so many wonderful, qualified people that actually did lose jobs over the years. We know that. And now they're exploring their encore careers and exploring other options. That's a lot of what we see at Walsh. We have a higher age demographics at Walsh, and many of them have chosen to start a new career later.
This has spread to, correct me if I'm wrong, Ohio, Pennsylvania, the Launchpad project. You've also partnered with high schools and community colleges in some of those areas to try to get to them, what, at a very, very young age?
Right.
Start thinking about becoming entrepreneurs?
There's 2 points there. Actually, Blackstone, we're rolling out nationally. They're going to go to 2 more regions, I understand, by the end of the year. They also opened a launch pad in Florida recently. But regarding the high school, yes, we have had a competition. Walsh actually initiated via a small grant that was given to us through Bowervick Foundation, a high school and community college competition to spur innovation at very young ages. And the results of that have been incredible.
All right. Professor Volz, what's the biggest thing that you're concerned with in terms of whether or not this will achieve the level that you want it to achieve?
Access to capital. One of the struggles for young people, I think, nationally and certainly here in Southeast Michigan
is getting the money.
Getting money.
Yeah.
I mean, they have wonderful ideas and they have the energy to get out there and market it, but getting their hands on that seed capital has been a struggle. So one of the
and we're always hearing that banks have been tight, certainly as of late, trying to get money out of them. And you can have the greatest idea in the world and the greatest spirit in the world, but if you can't get that initial capital to get you going, then what does it all mean?
We've had some wonderful support from the Michigan Initiative on Innovation and Entrepreneurship from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. They've been very helpful with giving us the kind of money to get these young people started. A number of firms across Southeast Michigan have also contributed. They've really made a difference. So one of the things we hope to do in the future is to assemble a pool of capital that, with the advice of our counselors and our coaches, can be given to the young people that have good ideas. Get them out there, get that prototype built, get that initial sale made, start assembling a record to make them successful. All
right, we will pick up on that, and I'm glad that you mentioned money because that's a real important part of that. We're going to talk about that coming up with Ellis Liddell, who's very much involved with money and for himself as well as others, and to try to help these young people get started in terms of their dreams. Carol, Glynn, thank you so much for joining us from Walsh College.
Pleasure.
Okay, Professor Volz from Wayne State University, William Volz, thank you for joining us. And we'll be right back, and Ellis Liddell will join us here. And you don't want to miss the conversation with him. He knows a whole lot about money and how to get it. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back to Spotlight. Joining me now is Ellis Liddell. He is president and CEO of ELE Wealth Management. His slogan is always, wealth is our legacy, pass it on, right?
Yes.
You hear that when you're on 1200 AM, WCHB with Mildred Gaddis, and you do a lot with Mildred there, and I know the close relationship that the two of you have, and you've been on Channel 7 as well, so you're no stranger to this station. But your first time on Spotlight, how long did it take us to get you so long on Spotlight? Shame on us. Too long, okay, all right, we won't go down that road. Your specialty is wealth management, whether it's insurance, it's investing, it's retirement, it's estate planning, it's wealth preservation. But what we just heard was about entrepreneurship, trying to get particularly young people to go out on their own, start a new business rather than joining some well-established business. That would be good for Detroit, that would be good for Southeast Michigan. But they left off talking about money, and that's the most difficult part about it. How difficult is it, and how do these young people make that approach?
You know what, they're going to have a wisdom team. And that's where it all starts. You have to have a wisdom team. And for example, on my wisdom team, I have a CPA, Alan Young.
Yeah, I have very well-established CPA.
You're right. And I have a banker, Comerica, Alexis Dishman. And those are two critical people, because I'm going to go to the banker. The banker is almost like a relationship when you find your wife.
Okay, all right, good, you know, good comparison, as long as it's a good marriage.
Right. Yeah. Because there are things you need to tell her. There are things you want to tell her, but it's not in your best interest. So, so that's a great relationship, but you start early. And I remember I used to go to the bank and cash my check all the time, and the lady would, you know, no one told me I need to know the other people sitting in the bank, you know, the branch manager, the assistant branch manager, because you've got to get from the front of the bank to the back of the bank to get some money out of the bank.
Sure.
So ultimately, the banker is somebody who's going to be critical, and students actually have money. It may not be large accounts, but it's small accounts. But you tell the branch manager your dream, so that when it's time to launch that dream, you've got a partner in a sense.
And has it been your experience that bankers these days will indeed work with you? Because we're always hearing these nightmarish stories that it's so tough to get money out of banks, and banks are just looking out for themselves and not necessarily for people starting off with these quote-unquote pie-in-the-sky dreams. But I think you found it to be just the opposite a lot of times.
Well, no, let's just say you're a tither, right?
Yes.
Now put you on the spot. Okay. On Spotlight. Put you on the spot on Spotlight.
I try as best as possible.
Right. There are times when you couldn't tithe at the level you would like to have because of debt and other circumstances, a new child being born, things that happen. Well, banks are the same way. It's the ebb and flow. Banks, you know, if the money flows into the bank, the money flows out of a bank. Like right now, money is flowing into banks, therefore banks can loan money out. But we go back to 2008 when we had a financial crisis. The banks also went through a financial crisis. They didn't have money to lend. So it just wasn't a good time if you had a business to launch to go to the bank and ask for money. Whereas now, they're back lending money again. Now, they're lending money for great ideas.
All right. You've got to have a good business plan.
Yes, you've got to have a good business plan.
You just can't go in and just talk about what you want to do because they're going to want to see it on paper and what you want to do.
And the other people on that wisdom team, so we said a CPA, a banker, you need a doctor, because your health is critical to surviving. A lot of people take that one for granted. No, you need a physician that's your partner, because it's stressful being in business, working for somebody.
Right.
Then imagine the amount of stress when you work for yourself and having to pay somebody else's salaries. So you need to make sure you've got a good partnership with a good doctor and then a pastor. You've got to, small business is faith.
What if you're not religious?
Well, if you're not religious, you're in trouble. No.
Okay.
You gotta have your faith someplace else.
Yeah.
But you do need, it is faith. You know, a baker wakes up in the morning baking goods in anticipation of who's gonna stop by and buy today. They don't know who's coming by, but they bake in anticipation of it. So you need to have kind of anticipate, so that's faith. A financial advisor opens their door expecting some new client to call today, but you don't know that someone's going to call.
You told me something. I'm going to repeat what you said. We're going to go to commercial break, and I'm going to have you come back and explain. You said during one of the commercial breaks that if you're fresh out of college, that's probably the best time in the world to start some type of business. I'm going to find out why right after this commercial break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Spotlight. We're here with Ellis Liddell. He's president and CEO of ELE Management, which is based in Southfield, Michigan. You recently won the Entrepreneur of the Year Award from Alabama A&M University, their alumni association, so congratulations for that. So you know a little something about this topic. Before we went to the break, I mentioned what you had mentioned earlier, that getting out of college, that's probably the best time in the world to start a business. Why? In some respects, you say it's the scariest time. You don't have any money.
Right. But you also don't have that much debt. Other than student loan, you don't have that much debt.
Right. And many of them, unfortunately, have a lot of.
Right. And maybe that little credit card that you made a little mistake on. Other than that. So you really are in a position to start something. The challenge that you're faced with is you went from living in a 400 square foot, no, probably 100 square foot dorm,
right.
Unless you already had an apartment, to now you're going to move out. You either have a choice. You can either go back home with your parents and start this business up, or you can get together with several friends and do it, which takes me to another term. If you're willing to live like other people aren't willing to live today, you'll be able to live like other people won't be able to live tomorrow. And it's going to be really important. You know, budgeting is one of the simple things that we talk about, we tell people in a financial setting, but not many people have a budget. You ask them, how much are you making? You know, how much is coming in, how much is going out?
So save something from every paycheck, especially if you're trying to start some type of business and become an entrepreneur. What is the biggest mistake that new entrepreneurs make?
I think they go out and try and look like they're already successful. They spend too much money on a suit. They buy too nice of a car. They go out and live too high on the hog early, and you can't. You just, it's a balancing act. You know, if you, listen, when you're young, you probably look good anyway, right? So you don't really need a $1,500 suit.
Right, to make you look better.
Right.
Okay.
You know, you look good already.
Don't do too much materialistic.
No, not too early.
Too soon. All right, you get the business off the ground. You do what Carol Glynn and what Professor Volz talked about earlier, you're taking all the right steps, your business is growing, it's doing okay. What do you need to make sure that that business succeeds? Right. Because then you got to start thinking about, okay, I've got the business going now, but look at all the stuff that comes after it. It's the insurance, it's the investing. Right. What advice would you give them?
Okay, the last person on the wisdom team, we talked about a CPA, banker, pastor, for those who are believers, and doctor. And then the last puzzle piece is a financial advisor. You come to a financial advisor because my job is to make you somewhat uncomfortable. I'll ask you questions about where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 15 years? Some people, the first guy asked that question, he's Ellis, I don't know where I'll be in 15 minutes.
Yeah, but you're forcing them to think.
It's critical that you have somebody else who asks you the tough questions. And then the person who's not on your wisdom team, but you critically need, is a mentor. If someone is already doing what you want to do everything in your power to get to meet that person and see if they'll just spend time with, find out what book they're reading.
In your opinion, is the state of entrepreneurship in America, is it healthy at this point, or do you feel it's got real problems?
You know what? I think the future, our kids and their kids will make more money than we ever dreamed of. So the potential is phenomenal, but it's going to be team building. It's no longer, you solely go ahead and do it by yourself. You're going to have to do it as a part of a group, a part of a team. And that's probably the biggest difference. Technology is changing everything, and it's going to make it easy. There are people who have 400 and 500 people on their Facebook page following them. But you got to convert those Facebook followers to Facebook supporters.
And very quick question, but important one. We heard them talk about immigrants earlier. Is this a great time for minorities, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, others to be branching out to try to become entrepreneurs?
It's an absolutely great time. Here's why. Your circumstance, the life you live, is going to create the new technology. It's going to create the new advancement. Because the young lady I watched, she created a machine that reads brain waves. A little young girl, not even 18, like 12 or something. Her mother got sick. That caused her to think about that. So your circumstance is what changed America. Our circumstance is what built this great country. Those people are still going through a tough circumstance. They're going to be the new entrepreneurs of the future.
All right. Ellis Liddell, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
And giving that type of advice, and we'll see where entrepreneurship goes. All right, and good luck with your business as well. And we want to thank you at home for joining us. I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. Have a great week. And for all of the ladies out there, have a great Mother's Day.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is next here on 7.